welcome back to the channel. We have a Jane's Doodle stamp today. It is, okay, forgive me if I say this wrong, Plumeria, I think. Frangipani, and apparently it's at the dog vein, I think that's what they said. I asked Google. Anywho, I know this plant as a frangipani. It is a childhood memory of mine, but we'll get back to that later. I have three colors that I'm using here. All of these, I'm just going to say frangipani because I can't even say that at the moment, because Plumeria is just, I'm not too sure if I'm killing it or not. Anyway, but out of the flowers, now of course there's lots of different colors of frangipani. My grandmother had a much whiter with a yellow than this, but we're going to go for a little bit more yellow. So I've got orange mineral out of the Prismacolor pencils, which is 1033. Canary yellow is my medium color, which is 916. And the lucky last color, which is sort of blending everything in a little bit more, is cream, 914. I am also using some white, clearly you can see there. The center of the frangipani plant flowers, I've used the warm grey, 50% warm grey, which is 1054, and also 20% warm grey. They were the two greys that I had. I have cool greys, the same ones, but they're the two that I had. I am also going to show you a little bit later on when a petal is underneath, but I'm going to save you a bit of time. It's all done. So where the frangipani flips over, which is what I'm doing there, I've used a little stroke of the 50%. We'll come back to that. Where it's going underneath another plant, I've done a line of 50% and then softly blended that out with a little bit of the 20% warm grey. Very, very light hand. If needed, the white can go over the top of it. This dark brown, which is 946, I am trying to use a heavy-handed right now where I want a lot of shadow, and a lighter hand further out. There is a tip with that, a trick, but we'll get back to that. Going back to where the frangipani plants are overlapping, sort of curling over onto itself, as I said, I have a stroke of the 50%, a stroke of the 20% over the top of the 50, and then pretty much basically the same with the canary yellow that I'm using right there. I wanted to show you how I colored the flowers that are not quite like the bud that's starting to open up there, which is basically very, very similar to what I've done everywhere else. I've used the orange, then the canary, and then I've gone back over with the cream just to soften that out. And I found that was enough. I didn't really need to worry about using the white to blend it out. But both those colors, because they're very, very light, are going to be the same. So we have olive green, which is 911. This is going down the center of our leaves and sort of where it is going to be tucked underneath something else. So the other frangipani, where the flowers actually are. The other one I'm using is spring green, which is that lighter color that you can see me using. Now, over the whole thing, whether it's the yellow, the orange, the green, the brown, everything, where I want the darkest color, that's where I've gone with a bit of a heavier hand. Where you might see, and I just saw it as I was saying, I'm really close to the edge of the pencil, the tip of the pencil. But where I'm going to be branching, like taking that out a little bit and wanting to blend that in, I actually move my hand up more often than not, because I am a little bit of a firm grip. Can you see there? It's really, really quite close to the tip of the pencil. Hopefully I'm not going to tell you a lie, but generally speaking, I move my hand out like that a little bit. It's not quite as close. It is hard to see in sort of sped up videos, but I'm trying to think of your time. Caribbean, depends on where you are. Caribbean Sea 1103. I did use, now you're not really going to see it in this video, sky blue light to blend that out a little bit more, and the white. Sky blue light is 1086. See there, my hand is really far down the tip. I'm not so worried about the white because you can't really see it. So that's it. Our colouring is all done. I've got this cardstock. It's just one from my stash. It's Seaside Spray. I've trimmed it down to be a little tiny bit bigger than my panel. Use some foam to adhere that all down. We're going to glue that onto our card base. And then we're going to have one more thing. So I love this plant. As I said, my grandmother had, it was a childhood memory. My grandmother had this plant in her front yard, right near the front gate. Actually, even one of my cousins, I noticed a couple of years back, she commented on something. And her childhood memory was this plant and my grandmother having these bowls of frangipani plants in her diary room. That's it from me. Take care.